Hi, my name is Angie. I am the Director of Outreach at Church of the Redeemer in downtown Toronto. I have been working with folks that are experiencing homelessness and marginalization and mental health issues, addictions, things like that for about 14 years now. And I am here to tell you a couple of things. So first I'm going to share with you a story about one of the times I did call the police. So there was a guy in crisis. He was very unwell that day. I had known him for a long time. Other times have gone okay. Today was not one of those days. So I ended up having to call for help. He was throwing tables and chairs, very violent. Didn't have most of his clothes were off, no shoes. So he was in a rough state, was with him for about 2 hours, nothing was changing. So again, I had to call. The police showed up and they were confused, like they didn't know what to do. I said, so what's your plan here? After about 10 minutes, I said, so what's your plan here? And they said, we aren't sure what to do here. And to be honest, I'd much rather, to be very clear, I'd much rather a police officer say we aren't sure what to do than to be violent. So this is not a story of any kind of police brutality. Thankfully, this is a story of a moment where I saw the humanity of the officers and I thought, is this a fair way to treat them? They signed up for a completely different job. They have completely different training and skill sets and completely different passions. And here they are having to deal with these kinds of things over and over again. I have called the police a total of 3 times. That is not because we have very little crisis. In fact, that is sadly not the case for sure. It is because we do not trust how things will go down if the police were to show up. This is just because we know folks that are in crisis pretty well, and we know that if someone were to walk in that did not understand that person or know how to interact with them, they could easily, and perhaps in their mind rightfully so, act violently towards them, and we don't want to put anyone into that position. So actually we end up dealing with a lot of unsafe crisis ourselves because of this, because we don't want to have any of that happen. So, to properly defund the police shouldn't be seen as a slap in the face to anyone. Like, it's been really interesting to me to see that play out and to see how that's being taken. It's being taken as a disrespectful thing to say to police. But in fact, most social workers I know, for instance, say things like, put me out of work all the time, right? Like, I'm sure you've heard that kind of thing, right? Like, make a society or a school or whatever, make a world in which I am not needed like this. I can do a different job then. Like, I don't need to do this work anymore because I only am doing this work because society is so broken, right? And I think it's interesting that we don't hear that voice from that side, but I do believe, I'm a pretty optimistic person, I do believe that there are police that would agree with that. Less police should be a welcomed philosophy for all involved, right? Like, the police included. Like, this would mean that they are better cared for, that they are doing the work that they feel that they're called to do and that they're trained to do. So my hope here is that we can start to see defunding the police as something that is actually supportive of a structure that involves police in a different kind of a way. And in turn, it's going to make a healthier society for the folks that I care most about, the folks that are on the margins, the folks that are really struggling with trauma and being re-traumatized instead of helped.